Honesty is celebrated in public but punished in reality. The truth, when spoken raw, does not set you free. It places you in chains. In this world, where perception is power and candor is weakness, those who insist on pure honesty invite their own destruction. Today, we expose why truth-tellers become victims and how to use honesty not as a virtue, but as a weapon. The world pretends to honor truth, yet it thrives on lies, masks, and illusions. Society demands honesty only to strip the knave of their defenses, rewarding them with betrayal, isolation, and ruin. The rulers, the manipulators, the true strategists, they never reveal themselves fully. They speak with precision, conceal with mastery, and calculate when truth will serve them and when deception will preserve them. If you wish to survive, and more than that, to dominate, you must learn when honesty strengthens your hand and when it condemns you to destruction. Let us descend into the psychology of truth, power, and survival. Honesty, it is praised as the highest virtue, the foundation of trust, the mark of a noble soul. And yet, look closer. Those who cling to it with religious devotion are almost always the first to be crushed. Ask yourself, when has raw, unfiltered honesty ever protected a man in the court of power? Did it protect Socrates when he spoke truth to Athens? No. It brought him a cup of poison. Did it protect the countless advisors who dared to speak their king's faults openly? No. They were silenced, exiled, or executed. History is littered with corpses of the honest. Because honesty, when wielded without calculation, is not strength. It is confession. It is stripping off your armor and exposing your flesh to the blade of others. Do you see the trap? Society teaches you that honesty is strength, but in practice it rewards those who know how to manage appearances. A man who blurts his feelings, his fears, his private thoughts, believing this makes him authentic, is not admired. He is studied, measured, and used. Consider this: when you reveal too much of yourself, you give away the map to your weaknesses. Tell someone your insecurities, and you hand them the very chains with which they can bind you. Tell your enemy the truth of your intentions, and you give him the chance to prepare against you. Why would a strategist ever do this? He wouldn't. Only the weak confuse honesty with bravery. Look at the rulers of Renaissance courts. They did not survive by pouring their truths into the ears of rivals. They survived by masking intentions, speaking in half-truths, and knowing when to lie and when to stay silent. Their words were not windows into their soul. Their words were weapons, precise, sharp, calculated. But what about today? Has the world changed? No. In modern offices, in politics, even in relationships, the pattern is identical. The employee who is brutally honest with his manager is rarely promoted. The politician who speaks naked truth without careful framing is buried by the mob. Even in love, the one who reveals every doubt, every fear, every insecurity becomes the one with the least power. Harsh, isn't it? But power has never belonged to those who spill everything onto the table. Power belongs to those who control what is seen. Think of honesty like fire. Controlled, it provides light and warmth. Uncontrolled, it burns down your house. The weak throw their fire wildly, hoping others will respect their courage. The strong contain it, release it in precise sparks, and make others kneel before its glow. So ask yourself, when you say, "I'm just being honest," who benefits? Do you grow stronger? Or do you simply satisfy another with your vulnerability? Does your openness give you leverage, or does it hand over ammunition to be used against you later? This is the brutal truth. Honesty, when practiced without strategy, is not a virtue, it is surrender. Consider the courtroom. The accused who confesses everything without a lawyer's guidance is not admired for his purity. He is punished. Consider negotiations. The side that reveals its bottom line at the beginning of the meeting is not respected. It is devoured. And yet, look around you. How many people proudly declare their radical honesty? How many brag about saying it like it is? These are not signs of strength. They are admissions of weakness. Because the wise man knows truth is a blade, and no blade should be given freely to those who wish to slit your throat. Pause for a moment. Reflect. When have you been punished for honesty? Perhaps a confession that shattered a relationship, a truth at work that cost you a promotion, a moment of openness that became gossip in the mouths of others. These wounds are not accidents. They are lessons. The world does not reward unguarded honesty, it exploits it. So, if you wish to wield power, you must reframe honesty itself. Do not see it as an obligation. See it as a tool. Something you choose to give when it strengthens your position. Something you conceal when it would expose your weakness. Honesty is not strength, it is only strong when controlled. The weak reveal everything. The strong decide what to reveal, and when. And here is the irony. The world will still call you honest. Because if you manage appearances well enough, no one will know how much you have concealed. They will only see the fragments you choose to reveal, and they will praise you for your so-called transparency. Meanwhile, you will be holding back the truth that protects your power. So remember, this honesty is not destroyed in the strong man's hands. It is sharpened, weaponized, turned into a dagger hidden beneath the cloak. The weak die by it. The strong kill with it. And now, the question becomes, if you cannot be purely honest, then how do you use truth strategically to bend perception in your favor? That is where we turn next. Society swears it values truth. Politicians declare it. Priests preach it. Parents demand it. But watch their actions, not their words. The world does not truly honor truth. It honors the illusion of truth. What does this mean? It means that society rewards those who appear honest, not those who actually are. It elevates the man who crafts a believable mask over the one who dares to show his unfiltered self. Think of religion in the Middle Ages. The church thundered about virtue, purity, and divine honesty. But behind closed doors, it thrived on power, wealth, and manipulation. Those who dared to reveal corruption were silenced, burned, labeled heretics. The illusion of truth was preserved, even if the truth itself was buried. And today, nothing has changed. The stage has shifted, the costumes are modern, but the play is the same. Look at politics. Voters do not demand truth. They demand comfort. They demand the illusion of sincerity, the well-polished speech, the carefully practiced smile. Do you believe leaders rise because they are the most truthful? No. They rise because they know how to package lies inside the wrapping of truth, how to feed illusions that satisfy the hunger of the crowd. Do you see the pattern? Society is addicted to lies, but it demands they be dressed in the clothes of honesty. So what happens to the man who gives raw truth without disguise? He is rejected, cast out, because truth is rarely what people want. It is what they claim to want. What they actually crave is reassurance, confirmation, stories that protect their illusions. Ask yourself when a friend asks, "Do I look good in this?" Do they truly want your unfiltered judgment? Or do they want the performance of honesty that flatters their vanity? If you answer with blunt truth, you damage the relationship. If you answer with a careful illusion, you strengthen it. Which one does society reward? This is the cruel reality. Truth is dangerous, but the illusion of truth is power. Consider business. A company advertises its product as the best on the market. Is it true? Rarely. But the illusion of truth, polished branding, glowing testimonials, carefully staged transparency, creates trust, and trust creates profit. Meanwhile, the small business owner who is bluntly honest about flaws is not admired for integrity. He is abandoned by customers who prefer the beautiful lie, and this exposes the psychological truth about human beings. We do not want reality. We want reality shaped, softened, and manipulated into a form we can tolerate. Absolute honesty feels harsh, abrasive, even cruel. Illusion feels safe, it flatters our fragile egos. Now, here is the Machiavellian lesson. If you wish to survive in society, you must never mistake people's demand for honesty as genuine. They are asking for illusion, a convincing shadow, a mask so well crafted that it feels authentic. This is why the most effective manipulators are not liars in the crude sense. A liar shouts something that can easily be disproven. A master creates a half-truth, a carefully engineered illusion, something close enough to reality that it cannot be challenged, but still crafted to serve his interests. Think of a king addressing his subjects during famine. He does not say, "We are starving, and I am powerless." That is the raw truth. He says, "Why endure hardship together, but soon prosperity will return." It is not a lie, it is the illusion of truth. It calms the people, it preserves his throne. And yet, the naive man cannot see this. He believes society's slogans. He believes institutions mean what they say. He believes honesty is rewarded, when in fact it is punished the moment it contradicts collective illusion. So what about you? How often do you fall into this trap? How often do you speak the unfiltered truth, only to be met with silence, resentment, or exile? How often do you expect others to value your honesty, only to discover they prefer the illusion of honesty performed by someone else? Here lies the great dangers. Those who cannot master illusion will always be at the mercy of those who can. Do not misunderstand. I am not telling you to become a liar. Lies are crude. Illusion is an art. It is not about fabricating nonsense. It is about shaping reality in a way that is palatable, strategic, and powerful. The masses cry out for truth, but the moment they receive it, they recoil, they accuse, they destroy. The wise man does not give them truth. He gives them an illusion so carefully crafted that it feels more real than reality itself. That is the path to influence. That is the way of survival, because in this world, honesty is a burden. But the illusion of honesty, that is currency. And now, the question becomes, if illusions hold greater power than truth, how do you master the timing of revelation? When to speak, when to conceal, and when to twist honesty into a weapon. The weak reveal everything. The strong reveal only what serves them. This is the essence of selective truth, the art of deciding when honesty strengthens you, and when silence or deception preserves your power. Ask yourself, is every truth worth telling? Or is truth, like a blade, something that must be drawn only at the precise moment to strike? History gives us countless lessons. Consider Julius Caesar. Did he declare his ambition for absolute power openly from the beginning? No. He cloaked it in modesty, pretending loyalty to the Republic, bowing to tradition, speaking in tones of humility. Only when the moment was ripe, when his armies were loyal and his rivals weakened, did he reveal his true intentions. Had he spoken too early, he would have been destroyed before his power could mature. His survival depended on the careful rationing of truth. Now consider the opposite. Marcus Tullius Cicero, the great orator of Rome, who prided himself on being a man of unshakable honesty. He exposed too much. He revealed his moral disgust for corruption without calculating the cost. His speeches won applause but earned enemies. And in the end, his honesty left his body mutilated, his head and hands nailed to the rostra as a warning to others. Do you see the difference? One man mastered the timing of honesty. The other was enslaved by it. But this is not just history. Look around you. In politics, in business, in personal life, the principle remains unchanged. The leader who reveals all his plans is devoured before he can execute them. The negotiator who exposes his true bottom line loses before the discussion even begins. The partner who confesses every doubt and fear is not rewarded with love, but with diminished respect. So here is the brutal truth: honesty is not a constant. It is a weapon to be sheathed or unsheathed depending on the battlefield. Think of a chessboard. Do you reveal every move you intend to play to your opponent? Of course not. You conceal your strategy until the moment of execution, when revelation becomes devastating. Why, then, would you treat life differently? The naive mistake is to believe that honesty must be pure and unbroken. The strategist knows that honesty must be fragmented, timed, and measured. You do not show the whole picture. You release only pieces, fragments carefully chosen to shape perception. Psychology confirms this. People do not need the entire truth to believe you. They only need enough detail to feel they understand. The rest they fill with assumptions. If you guide those assumptions skillfully, you control them without ever revealing yourself fully. Consider relationships. The lover who reveals every insecurity early on loses allure. Mystery is power. Partial revelation keeps attention sharp, while total exposure breeds contempt. In persuasion, The same principle applies. Too much truth is overwhelming, but a carefully placed piece of honesty builds credibility. The strategist, then, must master rhythm. Speak truth when it binds others to you. Withhold it when it exposes your weakness. Shape it when it allows you to guide the imagination of others. Let me ask you, have you ever revealed something too soon? Perhaps a plan you shared before it was ready, only to watch others sabotage it, or a personal truth confessed to someone who later used it against you. Did you not feel regret? That regret is the scar left by mistimed honesty. Selective truth is the antidote. It is not lying for the sake of lying. It is recognizing that truth itself is not sacred, it is tactical. Used too soon, it ruins you. Used at the right time, it elevates you. Consider the courtroom again. The skilled lawyer does not spill every fact immediately. He paces the truth, holding back the most devastating revelation until it delivers maximum impact. He turns the truth into a weapon of suspense and power, and so it must be in your life. Do not reveal yourself completely. Reveal strategically. Withhold when necessary. Allow silence to be its own answer. And when you choose to reveal truth, make it cut. This requires patience, discipline, a willingness to resist the childish urge to get it all out. That is the language of the weak. The strong never reveal all. For what is power, if not the ability to control perception? And what is perception, if not the fragments of truth you allow others to see? Remember this, the entire truth is rarely demanded. But the illusion of honesty, the careful selection of what to reveal, that is what society rewards. The question then becomes, what happens when you abandon this discipline, when you practice raw candor without control? Candor. It is praised as noble, celebrated as authentic. But candor, when unguarded, is nothing but a blade turned inward. The candor destroys more lives than calculated deceit ever could. And yet, how many people wear it proudly, declaring, "I just say what I feel. I tell it like it is." They believe this makes them strong. In truth, it makes them predictable. And predictability is the death of power. Consider the story of King Charles I of England. His candor, his insistence on revealing his stubborn devotion to divine right, stripped him of allies and hardened his enemies. He made no effort to disguise his intentions, no effort to bend perception. His honesty about his absolute authority did not strengthen his reign. It cut off his own head, literally. Now compare him to Cardinal Richelieu of France. Richelieu was never naïve with his words. He revealed only what advanced his position. He cloaked his ambitions in the language of duty to the king. While Charles lost his crown and his life through candor, Richelieu ruled behind the throne, bending France to his will. What lesson do you draw from this? That candor is not virtue. It is vulnerability. Look around you today. Do you not see the same pattern? The employee who tells the boss exactly what he thinks is rarely rewarded. He is marked as a problem, someone to be silenced or discarded. The politician who speaks raw, unfiltered truth does not last long. The media tears him apart. Rivals exploit his words. His candor is turned against him. The candor is dangerous because it hands others a weapon. Every word you speak without calculation can and will be used against you. People remember. They twist, they repeat. And in the end, your openness becomes your cage. Psychology confirms it. Human beings are not neutral recorders of information. They are biased interpreters. When you speak with candor, they do not simply hear your words. They reshape them to fit their desires, their fears, their suspicions. What you meant as honesty is repackaged as insult, weakness, or confession. Ask yourself, how many times have you spoken openly, only to regret it later? How many times has your candor created tension you did not intend, or betrayal you did not expect? Did the truth set you free, or did it chain you to consequences you could not control? This is why the great strategist never indulges in candor. He understands that every word must serve a purpose. Every revelation must be weighed against its cost. The world, for all its pretense, does not reward blunt truth tellers. It rewards those who appear candid while concealing their true motives. Those who know how to drip, feed honesty to build trust, without ever exposing themselves completely. Think of the battlefield. Would a general reveal his strategy to the enemy before the fight begins? Only a fool would do so. And yet, in life, countless people reveal their strategies every day. Through their candor, they confess their plans, their fears, their weaknesses. They leave nothing to mystery. And so they are easily defeated. Candor destroys relationships too. Lover who constantly says whatever is on their mind corrodes attraction. Mystery vanishes. Respect diminishes. Familiarity breeds contempt. Even love withers under the weight of too much unfiltered truth. For desire thrives on tension, not exposure. So what is the alternative? Must you lie at every turn? No. The answer is control, discipline, the art of measured speech. Candor without calculation is suicide, but controlled honesty, dispensed with precision, is power. Remember this: your words are arrows. Once released, they cannot be taken back. The man fires without aiming, and he wounds himself. The strategist draws only when the target is clear and the strike serves his interests. And here lies the bitter irony. Society claims to value candor, but in truth it fears it. People want honesty only when it flatters them, protects their illusions, or serves their advantage. When it cuts too deep, they call it cruelty. When it exposes too much, they punish you for daring to speak it. So guard yourself. Speak less than you know. Reveal only what strengthens your hand. Let your words be deliberate, not impulsive. For in this game, candor is not courage, it is carelessness. And carelessness is fatal. The weak destroy themselves with candor. The strong speak with calculation, always aware of the cost. And now, the question becomes, if candor ruins those who wield it recklessly, then what weapon shields you from the cruelty of others? How do you protect yourself when transparency is demanded of you? If honesty exposes you, then what protects you? The answer is deception. Not deception as crude falsehood. Not the childish lie that crumbles under scrutiny, but deception as shield, as armor, as survival. Consider the fox. The fox cannot overpower the wolf. It survives because it deceives. It hides its scent. It masks its trail. It feigns weakness to escape and cunning to hunt. Without deception, the fox is devoured. With it thrives. So it is with men. History has always favored the deceiver. Take the Byzantine Empire, an empire that survived for centuries not through brute force, but through diplomacy laced with deception. They bribed enemies. They set rivals against one another. They signed treaties they never intended to honor. Had they relied only on candor, they would have perished in a single generation. Instead, their shield of deception prolonged their survival for 1,000 years. Do you see the pattern? The honest man is predictable. He is naked on the battlefield of life. The deceiver is untouchable. He is smoke. He is shadow. He lets others strike at illusions while his true self remains concealed. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you were deceived? Perhaps you were sold a product, convinced it would change your life. Perhaps a lover whispered promises they never intended to keep. Perhaps a friend spoke words of loyalty while plotting their own escape. You remember the sting, don't you? And yet, their deception worked because you wanted to believe it. This is the paradox. People claim to despise deception, yet they fall for it endlessly. Why? Because the human mind craves comfort more than truth. The deceiver understands this weakness. He offers illusions that soothe, and in return, he gains power. But here is the crucial point: deception is not merely about manipulating others. It is also about protecting yourself. Think of espionage. A spy's survival depends on deception. He wears false identities, gives half-truths, and conceals his loyalties. Were he to declare his true allegiance openly, he would be executed within the hour. His life depends on masks. So too does yours, though in subtler ways. Consider the workplace. If you reveal your ambitions fully, colleagues will sabotage you. If you expose your weaknesses, rivals will exploit them. Deception shields you. It allows you to hide your true aims, present a harmless mask, and move unseen until your position is unassailable. Even in personal life, this shield is necessary. A relationship without any deception is a fantasy. We all conceal. We all edit our words, our feelings, our histories. Why? Because complete transparency is unbearable. Deception is not the enemy of intimacy. It is the condition that makes intimacy possible. But let me ask you, do you know how to wield deception? Or are you clumsy, lying without art, exposing yourself in the process? True deception is subtle. It does not shout. It whispers. It allows the other person to convince themselves. The best deceivers do not force belief. They create space for others to believe willingly. Napoleon once said that men are governed by imagination. This is why deception works. You do not need to force your story upon others. You only need to give them enough fragments, enough appearance, and they will invent the rest themselves. They will build the illusion for you, and in doing so, chain themselves to your design. And yet, remember this, deception is not without danger. Use it carelessly, and you will be exposed. If discovered, your mask can turn to poison, eroding trust permanently. That is why deception must always be layered, measured, concealed beneath partial truths. A lie wrapped in honesty is far harder to detect, so the wise man learns the balance. Too much candor, and he is destroyed. Too much reckless deceit, and he collapses under exposure. But deception is shield, controlled, subtle, patient. This is the path to survival. Think of it this way: honesty is a window, fragile and transparent. Deception is the curtain. The world does not need to see everything inside. They only see what you choose to reveal, and what you conceal gives you freedom. The weak strip themselves bare. The strong survive behind masks. So the question becomes, once you master deception as defense, how do you turn truth itself into a weapon? Not just to shield yourself, but to cut down your rivals. We have seen how blind honesty destroys. We have seen how candor weakens, how deception shields. But now comes the highest art, turning honesty itself into a weapon. Ask yourself, what is more powerful than a dagger concealed beneath a cloak? A dagger drawn at the precise moment, in full view, when no one expects you to strike. This is how honesty can serve you, not as virtue, not as weakness, but as calculated force. History offers 1,000 lessons. Consider Abraham Lincoln. He was not loved simply for his rhetoric, but for his selective honesty. At times, he revealed harsh truths others feared to speak. This gave him an aura of integrity, even when he was maneuvering with the shrewdness of any politician. His honesty was not constant. It was timed. He revealed it when it won him allies, when it gave him moral advantage, when it secured the loyalty of those hungry for authenticity. Honesty became his sword, not his chain. Or look at the Renaissance courts. Rulers and advisors often cloaked themselves in deception, but they also knew the rare power of a well-placed truth. When a prince admitted a flaw or a limitation, not constantly but selectively, it disarmed suspicion. It created the illusion of transparency. People thought, if he admits this, then everything else he says must be true. Thus, one fragment of honesty purchased belief in 100 deceptions. Do you see the pattern? Controlled honesty is not surrender. It is strategy. Now reflect on your own life. Imagine a negotiation. If you conceal everything, you appear untrustworthy. But if you reveal a single truth, one that costs you little, it builds credibility. It lulls the other side into thinking you are open. Then, when the decisive moment comes, they will believe the larger claim you make, never suspecting how much you still hide. This is the art. Give away truths that strengthen your position while guarding the truths that would ruin you. Consider psychology. People crave honesty because it feels rare. It disarms suspicion. When you are the one bold enough to say what others avoid, you appear fearless. Your words cut deeper, not because they are entirely true, but because they are perceived as true. Think of the courtroom again. The skilled lawyer admits a small fault in his client's story. The jury thinks, he would not reveal this unless the rest was genuine. That single admission turns the lawyer's larger narrative into something untouchable. Selective honesty is credibility. Credibility is power, and power, once secured, allows you to bend perception. But let me ask you, are you capable of this discipline? Or are you one of those who throws honesty carelessly, hoping others will respect you for your candor? Respect is not given to the reckless. Respect is given to the calculated. Controlled honesty also has another function. It blinds. When you reveal something genuine, your enemies stop looking deeper. They believe they already see the truth. They stop probing. In this way, your honesty becomes a cloak for what lies behind it. Remember Richard Nixon. His downfall was not the deception itself. It was being caught in lies without the balance of credible honesty. He concealed too much, and so when the dam broke, everything collapsed. Contrast this with leaders who sprinkle truth strategically. They build a fortress of credibility that protects their deeper manipulations. Even in personal life, the same rule applies. The partner who admits a small mistake earns forgiveness, and through that forgiveness, the power to continue concealing greater truths. The colleague who admits a minor flaw appears trustworthy, and through that trust gains influence. Honesty, then, is not to be rejected. It is to be weaponized. It is to be sharpened into a tool you control, not a chain that controls you. Think of it as currency. Spend it sparingly, and it buys you immense leverage. Spend it carelessly, and you are bankrupt. The weak drown in their truth. The strong weaponize theirs. So ask yourself, when will you reveal your truths? Will you waste them on empty confessions? Or will you release them like arrows, each shot chosen for maximum impact? This is the choice every strategist must face. And remember, controlled honesty is not merely about protecting yourself. It is about bending the minds of others, drawing them closer, making them trust, admire, even follow you. Because nothing is more dangerous than a man who knows how to make truth serve his ambition. The weak wield honesty as burden. The strong wield it as blade. And yet, the ultimate question remains if truth itself can be turned into a weapon. What does this mean for morality, for trust, for the very fabric of human connection? They believe they are free. They believe they choose. But you know better. Control does not come from chains. It comes from invisible strings, a whisper, a gesture, a truth placed where it blinds. The greatest power is not forcing obedience. It is guiding another's will so they obey while thinking it was their own decision. That is how kingdoms were kept. That is how modern empires are built. Ask yourself, are you the one being moved, or the one moving others? If you do not choose, someone else already has. You now hold the tools. The question is, will you wield them? If you found value in this, leave your thoughts below. I read them. I measure them. Subscribe if you want more strategies sharpened for those who dare to see. And share this with someone who still sleeps in illusions. Someone who does not yet understand the game. Because power rewards only those willing to take it. The rest are ruled.